There comes a moment in life when noise becomes so loud that the soul begins to disappear beneath it. People rush from morning to night, chasing money, approval, attention, and temporary pleasures, yet they never stop to ask the most important question.
Where am I going?
A person can spend 50 years climbing a mountain only to discover at the end that the mountain was never worth climbing. So stop everything for a moment. Sit quietly. Breathe slowly. Listen carefully to the silence you've been avoiding. Because hidden inside silence is the habit that can transform your next 50 years. The habit of daily stillness and self-awareness. Most people live like leaves in the wind. Their emotions control them. Their anger speaks before wisdom can answer. Their fears decide their future before courage even has a chance. They wake up and immediately give their attention to the world, but never to their own spirit. This is why so many people grow older without growing wiser. But the one who learns to pause becomes different. A few minutes of stillness each day can change the direction of an entire lifetime. When you sit quietly and observe your thoughts without running from them, you begin to see clearly. You notice how much energy has been wasted on worry. You notice how many battles existed only inside your mind. Slowly, your heart becomes lighter. Your decisions become wiser. Your words become softer. And your life begins to move with purpose instead of confusion. The world teaches people to react quickly, but true wisdom teaches patience. A calm mind can see opportunities that an anxious mind will always miss. A peaceful heart attracts better relationships, better choices, and deeper happiness than endless chasing ever could. Think about this carefully. The habits you repeat today are creating the person you will become tomorrow. One small habit repeated every day for 50 years becomes destiny. If you spend your days complaining, rushing, and living unconsciously, your future will carry the same darkness. But if you spend even a little time each day in reflection, gratitude, and awareness, your future will slowly fill with peace. Do not underestimate small moments. A river cuts through stone not because of power, but because of consistency. The greatest transformation does not happen in a single dramatic moment. It happens quietly. Like sunrise, like a seed becoming a tree beneath the ground where nobody can see it. One peaceful morning, one mindful breath, one wise decision repeated again and again until your entire life changes. Power of stillness, taking time each day to sit quietly and reflect, can bring clarity, peace, and wisdom into life. Stillness is a forgotten power in the modern world. Everywhere people are running, speaking, scrolling, reacting, and chasing something they believe will finally bring peace to their hearts. Yet the more noise they collect around them, the more distant they become from themselves. A restless mind cannot hear wisdom clearly, just as disturbed water cannot reflect the moon. This is why learning the power of stillness can completely transform a human life. Most people fear silence because silence reveals truth. When the world becomes quiet, hidden worries begin to appear. Unhealed pain rises to the surface. Questions that have been ignored for years suddenly ask for attention. Instead of facing these things, many people distract themselves with endless activity. They stay busy not because they are happy, but because they are afraid to meet their own thoughts. Yet running from the mind only strengthens confusion. The one who chooses stillness begins a different journey. Even a few minutes each day spent in silence can slowly heal the heart. When you sit quietly and simply observe your breathing, your thoughts begin to settle. At first, the mind may feel wild like a storm, jumping from fear to memory to worry. But with patience, the storm weakens. A calm space begins to grow inside you. In that calmness, wisdom speaks softly. Stillness teaches people to respond instead of react. An angry person speaks quickly and regrets later. A fearful person makes decisions without clarity. But a calm person pauses before speaking. They observe before acting. This simple pause prevents countless mistakes and unnecessary suffering. Peaceful people are not weak, they are strong enough to control themselves even when emotions try to take over. There is also great healing in stillness. The body relaxes. The mind becomes lighter. Problems that once seemed impossible begin to look smaller and clearer. Many answers people search for in the outside world are already waiting quietly inside them. But those answers can only be heard when the noise disappears. Nature itself teaches this lesson. The deepest lakes are calm. The strongest trees grow silently. The sun rises without making an announcement. True power does not always arrive with noise, often it arrives in silence. If a person practices stillness every day, their entire life slowly changes. Their relationships become more peaceful because they listen better. Their decisions improve because they think clearly. Their heart becomes less controlled by fear and anger. Over time, they begin to feel connected to life instead of trapped by it. A few quiet moments each day may seem small, but small habits repeated over years create extraordinary transformation. Stillness is not wasting time. Stillness is returning home to yourself. Self-awareness changes destiny. Observing your thoughts and emotions helps you make better decisions instead of reacting blindly. Self-awareness is one of the rarest forms of wisdom a person can develop. Many people spend their entire lives understanding the world around them, but never truly understanding themselves. They know the habits of others, the mistakes of others, and the weaknesses of others, yet they remain strangers to their own minds. A person who cannot see themselves clearly will continue walking in circles, repeating the same pain, the same fears, and the same mistakes again and again. The mind is powerful, but without awareness it becomes like a wild horse running without direction. Thoughts come and go every moment. Some create fear, some create anger, and some create unnecessary suffering. Most people believe every thought that enters their mind, and because of this, their emotions control their actions. One negative thought can destroy an entire day. One moment of anger can damage a relationship built over many years. This happens because people react unconsciously instead of observing themselves with wisdom. Self-awareness changes this completely. The moment a person begins watching their own thoughts and emotions carefully, transformation begins. They start noticing patterns they never saw before. They notice how fear influences their choices. They notice how pride creates conflict. They notice how constantly seeking approval steals their peace. Awareness shines light into the hidden corners of the mind, and once something is clearly seen, it begins to lose its control. A self-aware person does not become perfect overnight, but they become more conscious with each passing day. Instead of blaming the world for every problem, they begin asking deeper questions. Why did this upset me? Why am I afraid? What kind of person am I becoming? These questions create growth because they invite honesty. True wisdom begins the moment a person stops lying to themselves. Many people believe changing their life requires huge actions, but often the greatest transformation begins with simple observation. When you quietly notice your emotions without immediately reacting to them, you create space between yourself and your impulses. In that space, wisdom can enter. Anger becomes easier to control. Fear loses some of its power. Even sadness becomes lighter because you no longer fight against it blindly. Self-awareness also brings freedom. When you understand your own mind, you stop becoming a prisoner of every emotion and outside opinion. You no longer need constant validation from others because you understand your own value. You begin making decisions based on clarity rather than pressure. A person who develops self-awareness gains something more valuable than success or praise. They gain inner understanding. And once someone truly understands themselves, they can shape their future with wisdom instead of living unconsciously through habit and emotion. Small daily habits shape the future. The habits repeated every day slowly build the person you become over the next 50 years. Small daily habits may seem unimportant in the moment, but they quietly shape the direction of an entire life. A single drop of water appears weak, yet over time it can carve through solid stone. In the same way, the thoughts, actions, and routines repeated each day slowly create a person's character, future, and destiny. Most people wait for one dramatic event to transform their lives, but true transformation rarely arrives all at once. It is built slowly through consistent actions repeated over many years. Many people underestimate the power of their everyday choices because the results are not immediate. One day of anger may not destroy a peaceful life, and one day of laziness may not ruin success. But when negative habits are repeated again and again, they begin to shape the mind and spirit. Complaining every day teaches the mind to focus on problems instead of gratitude. Constant worry trains the heart to live in fear. Living without discipline slowly weakens confidence and purpose. The danger of harmful habits is not always visible at first, which is why so many people continue them without awareness. In the same way, positive habits create powerful change when practiced consistently. A few moments of reflection every morning can create clarity for the entire day. Speaking kindly each day strengthens relationships and inner peace. Choosing patience over anger again and again slowly changes the nature of a person. Reading wisdom, practicing gratitude, spending time in silence, or simply observing your thoughts can seem small, but over years these habits shape a calm and balanced life. The human mind is like a garden. Whatever is watered daily will grow stronger. If negativity, fear, and distraction are fed constantly, suffering will grow. But if peace, discipline, and awareness are nurtured every day, wisdom begins to bloom naturally. The future is not created in one moment. It is created through repeated choices that slowly become part of who you are. Many people live carelessly because they believe they have endless time. They delay change until tomorrow. Then another tomorrow arrives and years disappear. One day they look back and realize their habits created a life they never truly wanted. This is why awareness of daily actions is so important. Every small decision is shaping the person you are becoming. Even the strongest tree began as a tiny seed hidden beneath the earth. It did not grow overnight. Day by day, through patience and consistency, it became powerful enough to survive storms. Human transformation follows the same law. Small habits practiced with dedication become strength, wisdom, and peace over time. If a person changes even one small habit today and continues it faithfully, the next 50 years of their life can become completely different. Great change always begins with small, consistent steps. Inner peace is greater than constant chasing. True happiness comes from a calm and balanced mind, not from endless pursuit of money or approval. The world constantly teaches people to chase more. More money, more attention, more possessions, more approval. From a young age, many are taught that happiness exists somewhere outside themselves, waiting to be found in success, status, or recognition. Because of this belief, people spend their lives running endlessly. Even after achieving one goal, the mind quickly creates another desire. The cycle never truly ends. Yet despite all this chasing, many hearts remain restless and empty. Inner peace is far more valuable than anything the outside world can offer. A peaceful mind can enjoy simple moments that a restless mind completely ignores. A calm person can sit beneath the sky, listen to the wind, and feel gratitude without needing constant entertainment or validation. But a person trapped in endless desire rarely experiences contentment because their happiness always depends on something they do not yet have. The problem is not success itself. There is nothing wrong with working hard or building a meaningful life. Suffering begins when people believe their worth depends entirely on external achievements. When identity becomes attached to money, appearance, or the opinions of others, fear naturally follows. Fear of failure, fear of losing what has been gained. In this way, chasing external things without inner balance creates anxiety instead of peace. A peaceful heart lives differently. It understands that true happiness does not come from controlling the entire world, but from learning to control the self. A calm mind does not react to every insult or disappointment. It does not become jealous every time another person succeeds. Instead, it remains grounded because its joy comes from within rather than from comparison. Many people believe peace is something weak or passive, but real peace requires tremendous strength. It takes strength to remain calm in a world filled with anger. It takes wisdom to stay grateful while others constantly complain. It takes discipline to protect your mind from negativity and unnecessary noise. The peaceful person is not someone who escaped life's difficulties. They are someone who learned not to let difficulties destroy their spirit. When a person develops inner peace, every part of life begins to change. Relationships improve because they speak with patience instead of frustration. Decisions become wiser because fear no longer controls the mind. Even difficult moments become easier to face because peace creates stability within the heart. The outside world will always change, wealth can disappear. Praise can turn into criticism, people can come and go like seasons. But inner peace remains a steady light during all these changes. This is why it is more valuable than endless chasing. Consistency creates transformation. Real change happens gradually through repeated mindful actions, just like a river slowly shaping stone. Consistency is one of the most powerful forces in human life, yet many people ignore it because its results appear slowly. The world often celebrates sudden success and dramatic change, but true transformation usually happens quietly over time. A mountain is not shaped in a single moment, and a tree does not become strong in one day. In the same way, wisdom, peace, discipline, and inner strength are built through small actions repeated consistently for many years. Many people begin change with excitement but abandon it when results do not appear quickly. They meditate for a few days, practice gratitude for a week, or try to improve their habits for a short time, then return to old patterns because they become impatient. They expect transformation to arrive instantly, but life does not follow that path. Real growth requires patience. The seed beneath the earth does not become a tree overnight, yet every silent day of growth matters. Consistency teaches the mind discipline. When a person repeats positive actions daily, even when they do not feel motivated, those actions slowly become part of their nature. A calm person was not born calm. A wise person did not become wise in one moment. They trained themselves through repeated effort, reflection, and awareness. Every small act matters because each action strengthens the direction of the mind. There is also deep power in simple routines. Waking up with gratitude each morning slowly changes how a person sees life. Spending a few quiet moments in reflection each day creates mental clarity. Choosing patience during moments of anger weakens the habit of emotional reaction. These actions may appear insignificant, but over years they completely reshape the heart and spirit. People often fail because they focus only on large goals while ignoring daily habits. They dream of peace while feeding the mind with negativity. They desire wisdom while living carelessly. But life follows what is practiced repeatedly, not what is merely wished for. A single peaceful thought repeated every day becomes a peaceful mindset. A single disciplined action repeated consistently becomes strength of character. Nature constantly reveals this truth. Rivers continue flowing even when obstacles stand in their path. The sun rises every morning without failure. Seasons change slowly but faithfully. Everything powerful in existence follows the law of consistency. Human life is no different. The person who understands consistency stops searching for quick escapes and begins building lasting change. Step by step, day by day, they shape a future filled with peace, clarity, and strength. In the end, it is not intensity that changes a life forever, but steady and faithful repetition of the right habits.